Right, today I'm with David Wilson from Plump Farm, and he's going to show me around.
Yes, this is a commemoration that started this, a commemoration of the disaster that we had in this area exactly 100 years ago, when you had the world's worst train disaster. And on Friday, as you know, we had Princess Anne up here joining the commemoration. And I was on that committee, and they asked me if I could put in an arrangement of machinery that would, agricultural machinery, that would have been used probably between the First and Second World Wars. And that is what this is. Some of it is a little bit later, but a lot of it is 1920s, 30s and 40s. This here, for instance, the start, this is known as a Fergie Brown. This tractor is 1938. They would not, they're quite well sought after. They would not be a great tractor at all. They would be very light, and apparently they were very prone to frost damage. And that they sometimes put a Davy Brown engine in originally, and then they put a Coventry Climax engine that's in this one.
So it's a petrol one, this one, David?
It's petrol paraffin.
I can see the spark plugs there.
Yes, it's petrol paraffin. And the great thing about this, if you looked at the back end of it, it was the start of the 3-point linkage, whereby you at the end you didn't trail round, you were able to lift it, which was a great step forward in how machinery and tractors operated. We then come tractors being done by a local lad, Glendon, in just a short distance away from here. I'll just check this. It is an E27 Major. Now, these tractors, I believe, were fitted later with a Perkins engine. I think that was quite a move forward, but it's a bigger, more powerful tractor, and it's always a stage that they just move forward as the years go on. And
I see it has a drive pulley on the side.
Yes, it has a pulley. They would drive thrashing mills, yes, or any type of machine, yes.
Right. Well, we've got some background music competition.
You'll have.
So what age is this one, David? Did we say actually?
1948, I think. Wow. 1945.
It's a 1945 Forston Major.
Yes.
Right.
These are just ordinary machines that you see a lot of these, and this is a type of horse plough that it would work. It's what was used, and it's in quite a good state. It would work today if we had the horses in front of it.
No, sorry, I'm David. I've just missed the cultivator there.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the wind noise. So the cultivator is
yes, you plowed,
is that for in between?
Yes, you ploughed the land first, and then you cultivated it, and then you had what was a stitcher, and it ridged the soil up for seeding.
Right.
And when the roots were growing, this went in between the stitches to pull out the weeds, and the weeds dried off and died supposedly after the turnips had been hoed. Yes, they're all horse-drawn.
Yeah. Right.
Now we come to this one, George, and they're pretty unusual. You think, well, you double your rate of work, but I think there'll be 3 horses in front of this.
I would think you'd probably need 3, yeah.
I could be corrected, but they were very unpopular, and they stopped making these mainly because of the men. They could not lift them. They're a terrible weight at the end of the work, trying to turn these round in the headlands.
So I see a ratchet thing there. What's that for?
Well, these are all depth controls, for adjusting the ploughs. Yes.
Right. And what age would this be?
Well, these would be 20s, 30s and 40s.
And have you got the maker name
there? I think it's a Ransom. Ransom.
It's a Ransom plough.
Ransom Jeffries, yeah.
Right.
There we are. Now,
oops.
Sorry. This is a potato riddle.
We need to be close together.
Right. I like it.
You and I are good friends today.
Right. This, it's very self-explanatory, as a lot of this stuff is, but it is a potato riddle whereby you'd put the potatoes of all sizes in at that end. Right. This barrel rotated. The small potatoes come in one side, the larger ones went through and up an elevator and would be bagged off at the end.
And what make is it?
There it is.
Right, okay, I can see that.
Edmonton, Gainsborough.
I can come back around and get all the photographs split.
But this is.
And this was petrol driven, or?
Yes, there's a little engine goes along with this.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
What sort of time would this be in existence?
I would have thought 30s and 40s.
Right.
It would work today.
Yes.
It would work today, actually. And there here with a self-explanatory thing too, this cart, and it's in excellent condition.
So it's got the wooden wheels with iron rim.
Yeah, it's got the wooden wheels, and it's actually a tipping cart. You know, there's a device there that tips the turnips out. It was quite funny on Friday. There were a lot of children about, and I heard there was one young lad asking his dad where they would put the hydraulic pipe.
Right.
So I thought that was quite good.
Well,
so there we are.
That's the way it goes,
yes.
Right.
But it's just a hand-drawn roller, as you can see, and this would be a set of blacksmith bellows.
Right, for the
fun when they were forging the steel when they were heating it up, probably for horseshoes and this type of thing. Right. This was a cake crusher. Now every farm, 20s, 30s and 40s, they would have one of these, maybe more than one of them. The cake, linseed cake, was a byproduct, and it come in slabs, and it was put through this thing, and the livestock couldn't eat it in the way it comes, so it had to be crushed.
Right.
And the linseed cake went through. It's quite a gruesome looking thing with these things, and that crushed it. I never remember these being used. Every farm would have one then, but I never remember them being used.
Came in handy there, yeah.
Well, it was just, I didn't want children turning it around and getting their fingers in there.
It could be a finger crusher as well,
yeah,
of course.
It could be a finger, and then I'd be in big trouble.
Right. Health and safety, as you say.
Yeah. Well, this here again, this was a grain crusher, or grain bruiser. You know, raw grain can't be fed to many livestock, especially cattle.
Right.
So it had to go through here to be crushed, and it would come out in little silver sixpences, which were much more readily digested.
Right. And that's Bentel.
Bentel & Co. William Bentel.
Right.
Modern in the 1940s. This was you know, you put the roots in there. This would be driven, well, some of it by hand, but mostly with belts. I mean, in the 1940s, electric motors were quite good, and these would be connected to electric motors, because it was quite hard work.
Better that way is
here another, George. This is another, what we're talking about. Another. It was a machine for crushing the oilseed cake.
So it's just another version?
Just another one of what we just have seen, yes.
Right. So there must have been...
Well, it was it come in compressed dried pulp, and after the rapeseed had been extracted from it, but it was a very valuable source of protein in animal feeds, and that's why this was readily used. Right.
And the next one, which is quite unusual, very unusual, I think.
Where are we?
The blue one here.
Oh, the blue one. Ah, yeah. No, well, I can remember that being used up at Castle Hill and Money Ive, actually. This was a hay fork, but this is before balers.
Right.
And you put this device into loose hay, and the rope went from here up into a loft or over the top of a stack, and it was connected to a horse, and the horse pulled the loose hay up on the top of the das. You pulled the rope, which unlocked it, and the hay fell down. It's to save people from forking it up. Right. I've seen it used, and it worked.
Quite good.
Yes, it did. Yeah. And this is another grain crusher, George.
Right.
We'll not dwell on that one.
Right. Okay.
Quite a big. That come from the late Mr. Johnson Rayburn Head. That's where that one come from.
Thank you. Right.
This here, yourself again. This is a rope maker. I mean, they would make the ropes on the farms themselves. You would tie the string to each of these. It turned, and it's really quite clever how it makes the rope. Yeah.
Right.
Now this here is maybe quite an interesting thing, George. This leveling device. I haven't seen anywhere else, but these are spring loaded. And I don't know. It must have been hard work, but two men would stand inside.
Actually, inside there.
And pull that.
Right. No demonstrations required.
No. So that's quite unusual, actually. There we are. This here. This is known as the Nessie model by the shape, but it was for crushing turnips. you put a turnip inside there and crushed it. I've got it tied because it's the type of thing that you get your fingers in and you know about it.
Right.
Okay.
I've never seen one of those before.
No. But you'll have seen.
You must have had it hidden the last time I was down at your place.
No, they're there. That there. Many people don't know what it is. I put it out, but many people involved with agriculture do know. It was a sheep stool. It's where you used to sit on there, and the sheep would be turned up. This is when it was hand shearing.
Right.
I think it must have been a lot easier on their backs, on the men's backs that were doing the shearing. So that's what that is.
We're always looking to make life easier, aren't we?
Well, yes, aye. Well, it's quite hard work.
No surprise.
Quite hard work. Well, this here is...
I'll just go at the front of it again, David.
Yeah.
Start again.
I used to go to football matches with my uncle who had one of these, and this one here was a 1947. 1947 Riley, it's a 1600 engine. And it's still very nice to drive.
Right.
And so I'm quite glad to have it.
So how do you do for petrol? Does it unleaded
well,
work
we just because we're not doing big mileages and such like, we just use ordinary unleaded petrol. We have not put any additives in as such.
Right, and it still goes fine.
Well, it seems to be, because as I say, we're not travelling huge mileages. So.
Right.
There we are.
Oh, that's better. The wind's slightly better now.
Aye. That's just a small cedar, George. You know, there again, you can see what it is. Now,
that's more for a lawn than a field, I would say.
Well, no, well, in stitches. Well, of course, it may be gardeners. Yes, maybe allotments.
Would you stand back a bit so I can get the photograph in? Thank you.
We're looking at these were for washing clothes. These two faraway items.
Right.
Blah blah.
I bet you've never used one.
No, I've never used one, but I've seen this one used often. This is a luggy.
The luggy.
Yeah. And of course for making the butter. And these are milking machines.
I've certainly never seen any. Well, I've obviously seen this one.
Actually, there was a strap went round the animal's back, the cow's back, and this slung underneath the animal.
Right.
There, slung underneath the cow or the heifer.
And do you know the maker of it at all?
Yes, it's a Surge Melotti.
Surge.
Yes.
So is that German?
No, it'll be Dutch.
Dutch.
Yes. Aye.
Okay.
No,
right, David.
Right, George. We've got quite a gruesome instrument here. This, as you can see, is a man trap, and it was still legal up until 1827. This is whereby large estates would employ gamekeepers to place these things in an area to stop poachers taking their pheasants, their deer, whatever else. This, as you know, Princess Anne was here on Friday. A lot of children were about, and they just loved this item. There would be a few of them, and they would run away, and then all of a sudden there'd be a great lot of them coming back. They'd be telling their friends to come and see this.
Right.
And they couldn't quite understand why I left a man's leg in the trap, but I haven't been able to explain that one yet.
Right. So
okay.
So how did you acquire this?
Well, I don't give my sources out, George.
Right. Okay. It shall remain a secret, David.
Yeah.
That's right. David.
Okay. Now this was it was the whole theme of the thing was to be World War I, World War II, and food production then would be crucial. And having a pig or having pigs would be a great advantage. So this device here went round the farms or anybody who had pigs, and the pig killer would sit on there and pedal, and that sharpened with a carborundum stone. That sharpened his equipment, sharpened the knives that were being used for the process.
Right, thank you. Right, I'll just stop.
Yes, some of those earlier ones would be horse driven, but I should imagine this would always be tractor driven. It's a Bamford.
Looks a heavy bit of kit.
Yes, it is. It's a Bamford. I should imagine they will always be tractor, and they were really quite good. Things moved on from there when they were able to put them onto the 3-point linkage of tractors, and that was another advantage.
I'm not going to have another look at the Reaper again. This is a sit-on one, compared with the one over here, which is tractor. I think they're both tractor pulled.
Yes, they're both tractor pulled. But the controls, maybe there'd been a suit on that, but I don't see it. No, I don't know. It must have been.
I can see that you'd be able to get the levers from
the front,
from the tractor, and obviously there had to be a man on this as well as a tractor driver as well.